Hey guys, this is Mexican Mia. Yeah, I've been really wanting to make this video for quite some time now. As we all know, or as we all should know, the dictator, essentially, of this country has ordered a vast deportation policy that went into effect back in early June, and ever since then it's been insanely horrible for so many people, including myself. Well, my family, as you guys know, I've posted many videos, regarding this, about, how grateful we are about what my parents did, like coming over here to the US. They are immigrants, and I am a proud daughter of immigrants. Like I've said this before so many times, for my YouTube channel, my name is literally Super Mexican Mia, and I take so much pride in being Mexican American, right? It's a blend of cultures. This country was built on like a blend of cultures, and it's crazy because we live on stolen land, and like essentially this is indigenous land, and it was taken over, and it's just crazy every day, honestly, since then, and especially now after the big stupid bill passed, right? How it gave ICE an incredible amount of funds and cut off so many other funds that we actually do need for people and for citizens in this country. It's been affecting even more people now, and oh my god, it's just insane seeing. I live in a community where there are various Latino or Hispanic, or like of South American descent. We have taco trucks. We have people selling like pan dulce there in the morning. They do like a little yard sales, and they've been gone, dude, like for some time now, for quite some time. It's very heartbreaking. The stores are like very empty, honestly, compared to like 2 months ago, like before this all started. You feel it in the community. You feel it just like, when you walk outside, like everyone like looks at each other like, thank God that we live in an area that's not really been like, hit as hard as others. But oh my goodness, Jesus Christ, I could just not imagine. Like, you see videos of all these people like being raided, or you see pictures, and then even at the protests, like, but I cannot just imagine feeling or how it is to even just like witness it happening in front of you or happening to your family. And it's something that obviously everyone wants to avoid, but it's something that's just so stupid that's happening because we need us, like, we need our people. And it's like, what did they do wrong? I understand, and it's been happening since the Obama administration, since before then, since like what's his name, since the Biden administration. Like it's been happening for some time. Obviously it's immigrants are getting deported due to being criminals or due to criminal activity, and I completely understand. But as you guys know, or I'm sure it's been in the news, or I hope at least I see on like TikTok or Instagram, there's been reports that they're just incarcerating literally people that have done nothing wrong at all in their life, like in terms of breaking the law or being criminals. And it's insane because they're breaking away apart families. I know someone that this affected. Like, we know people. Like, I feel like everyone at least knows someone, and it's just crazy because I was born here, but obviously I'm Mexican though. Like, that's my heritage, that's my culture, bro. And it's just so insane because like my son is born here, and he's like, he's second generation. I'm first generation here, and it's crazy because like if my parents didn't go through all of this, like they went through so much to come here, it's just crazy. Like, my son is so like privileged and blessed and lucky and fortunate to be here and have all these opportunities without even like needing to go through all of this, and like this is, you know, this is why they had us and everything, you know. But it's just, it's a rough time that we're living in, and you know, I've been really wanting to make this video for so long, but guys, I've been more active on Instagram and like TikTok, being an activist with a somewhat, you know, like large-ish platform, and because I really just, you know, it's something that it's happening every single day, and like you cannot stop talking about it at all. And you know, I might get annoying with like all my reposts and things, like my posts about this, but it's something that's very, you know, current and true and real. So as you guys know, even prior to this, my dad has, you know, been affected by an eye surgery that he had way back in early 2025. It affected him and it led to problems, and ever since then he has had to have surgery. And we my sister made a GoFundMe page to help him out, and thank God we, like, you know, we like thanks to you guys, we did like we got a lot of funds for my dad's surgery. And it's a 2-part surgery, and he already had like a first part of it. Now he's getting a second part pretty soon, actually, literally this coming week. So that's scary. And what's also scary is you guys know that, you know, there are talks or rumors about them raiding, you know, hospitals and like workplaces and just like, you know, outside like in neighborhoods. So it's, you know, it's been scary. There's, you know, we've always been talking about this for a while, like should he even go to like, you know, these appointments? Should he just cancel? He's canceled a few like that are just like checkups, and it's like, you know, it sucks, but he has had to miss them because we want to be safe. And last week he did go out, and it was not like terrifying, but it was kind of terrifying. I mean, anytime my parents go out, it's, you know, but this is the necessity. Like, he needs to go to this hospital. He needs to have this surgery done because like my dad cannot, like literally cannot see. And since then, you know, I've been the sole provider for like, you know, my mother and I. But since this has been happening, my mother had to stop working, and my sister and I have been trying to help my mother in that way. So we took over her job essentially, and I made a reel or TikTok about it. Hi, it's Super Mexican Mia.
And it's Aaliyah. And we're taking over my mom's business today
to support her during the ice raids, as many of you know, are happening in Los Angeles. Hola a todos, soy Super Mexican Mia.
Y soy Aaliyah. Y aquí estamos apoyando su negocio de mi madre.
En estos tiempos dificultosos, sobre todo en Los Ángeles, de las redadas.
En esta manera apoyamos a mi mamá mantener sus clientes y su trabajo.
In this way, we support our mother maintain her clients and keep her business afloat during these difficult times.
Thank you for joining us today
on our little cleaning vlog
with the Vasquez sisters.
Because the good thing, at least now, is a federal judge on Friday declared that DHS was making arrests, you know, with the raids of immigrants without probable cause. And, you know, they're basing it on, like, you know, race, profile, like the way they look, appearance, everything, you know. Thank God that he stopped this Trump's administration from, you know, going forward with these raids. And well, it says temporarily, you know, but it's something, and it helps out so many people, because this is insane the way that they're just racially profiling us. This is, you know, it's insane what everything that's been going on, guys, like literally since he, you know, came into term. And unfortunately, so many people are in, you know, my exact same situation, and people are so many people that are like far worse. And ever since then, I believe around June, maybe mid-June, I've been taking over full responsibility for honestly almost all the bills. And it's crazy because another part is my sisters help out as well. And, you know, that's why I say not fully, but, you know, almost fully. I'm the only one that works right now out of my family. And in terms of like my mom and dad, my sisters, you know, they're their own family in that way. You know, like we're family, but you get me? They live like in their own separate place, and it's just been insane. I mean, thank God that my mom, you know, she's literally the reason I can work and the reason like I am honestly surviving, because, you know, as you guys know as well, like, you know, like I'm a single mom, and like my mom takes care of me and my baby, like her grandson, like when I go to work. And besides this, I recently also started, almost around that same time, I opened my Etsy shop with my art. Or I had it open one time, but then I just closed it like forever ago. And then recently I opened like a new one, basically. Like I made like an actual account this time, like, and actually like I'm going through with it. And I use a print on demand website as well to help you know, ship my art, create my art, and like, you know, send it out. And it's all safe and 100% trustable, so that helps a lot. And as soon as the raise started, as soon as, like, you know, I caught wind of this happening, I was like, I literally can't stay silent in the way of, you know, how an artist has to create during, you know, these times. So I made a painting, and it was this one, and it's called Mexican American. And I'm going to leave the explanation here, but there's so much that goes in this painting. And it's, you know, as you see, it's my mom and me, and my father and me, and my child and I. Through our lifetime, you know, throughout all these generations, like, it's just insane how hardworking they are, my parents, and so many, like, immigrants that are their age, or like that are in their same situation. You know, they came here for better life, they came here for their children. There's just so much to celebrate in, you know, our culture. And even growing up, I think it was 3rd grade or 5th grade, I remember we were learning about I think it was called social studies. I think that was like the subject that we were learning about. And I remember, like, my teacher would always tell us, like, yeah, like, you know, California, like, also United States, you know, more specifically California, and, you know, even more specific in Los Angeles, but, you know, we're a melting pot. And like, I was like, whoa, like, that's crazy, like, that's insane. Like, and I remember being like, oh, like, I'm so proud and happy that I live in a place, you know, that celebrates all of these different cultures together. And it's just like, I always felt like, oh, like, I can be friends with anyone, essentially, in the way of, like, you know, not having to worry about my skin color, or like not worried about, have to, you know, worry about like there being like discrimination, like, you know. So it's insane. And then, you know, obviously growing up, one goes through certain, you know, things. Like, I've experienced racism against me, and it's crazy. I always just like think, like, I don't know, I always just have this thing of like, I really don't understand how someone could be like racist. And then I made that available as prints for, you know, for purchase. And I have half of the proceeds going to be donated to certain organizations helping immigrants in need, or different families in need, because so many families are making GoFundMes because they're trying to get the funds to, you know, pay lawyers to get their full citizenship. And it's crazy because I know someone who's doing that now currently, and she has a lawyer. She has no way to contact her husband though, like, at all. They're not, I don't know if they're just not letting them, but yeah, it's just, she hasn't been in contact with him. And it's, you know, it's scary. You don't know what's going on. The facility that he's being detained in, they're not letting them communicate with like his lawyer or even her. And it's crazy. Then kind of like maybe like a day, if not or two, like, I was literally staying up all night. And this is why, like, I haven't been filming. I would have filmed or something, but girl, I'm more focused on, like, you know, like making this art, creating it, and like making a statement, you know, like being loud about it. And this way of, like, you know, creating art, because I think that's just like, it comes out easier for me, you know, right now. I made this piece, Chinga la Migra, and if you guys don't know what that is, it's fuck guys in Spanish. It's painting, and I have prints available in the form of tote bags. Like, it's on a tote bag, and it's a lesser quality tote bag than the one I have for this next painting I'm going to talk about, and that's why it's cheaper. But also these proceeds, also half goes, I believe this one I made to CHIRLA. I think it's that organization, but it is, you know, organizations that help immigrants in need. Because, you know, I really wanted to make a statement, you know, fashion is political, and you can wear this, and like, you know, this is like you contributing to the fact, or like, you know, saying like, hey, I'm with you, you know, and like, fuck these guys, you know. If you see it, you're like, oh my god, it looks cute, or like, what does it say? And then you read it and you're like, oh, you know, and then it's like lit, or like, you know, you're against this and you're weird. Yeah, it's like weird. I don't know, how can you support someone and vote for someone who is literally loud as fudge like about this, about like mass deportation and stuff? Like, it's just insane. I don't know, I feel like it's so easy, you know, to think who to vote for. I don't know, I feel like people's like, and I know, like, you know, I've heard a lot of people say like that they voted for this person because it was a guy, you know, and they didn't not want to vote for like a girl, a woman. And I'm just shook about that. Like, what the fuck? Literally, what the fuck? I made a new painting, and this one is called treat me like I'm fucking human. How they were being treated in these facilities, or just being treated in general when they were captured by the raids by ICE. And it's insane. Like, a lot of videos like came up with, you know, just the mistreatment of us, of human, you know, just, you know, you're a human being, right? And it's just like, there's no respect, there's nothing. They literally, like, the way that they treat, you know, immigrants is just horrible. It's deplorable. The food that they get has, like, you know, insects or roaches or maggots in it. They sleep on the floor, and it's just insane. And like, I'm sure you guys have heard about the, you know, alligator Alcatraz thing. It's just crazy how they're doing all of this and how fast they built that concentration camp, honestly. And there's so much homelessness going on. There's so many veterans in need, and it's just insane. And then, you know, at the same time, we're trying to live our life, like, you know, on the daily. Like, I need to go to work every day. I'm like literally, you know, clocking in, clocking out. Like, I just go through, you know, like all these customers, and I'm just like, dude, it's insane. Like, I always just think to myself, like, do they know what's going on? Or like, are they, like, you know, like, with us or against us? Like, there's just so many thoughts go through at work every day. And then I'm just like, I just want to go home to my baby, bro. Like, I get like worried, you know, like so much, and now even more, and I'm just like, ah. So I made that painting as a statement to bring awareness as well, because as you guys know, you know, I posted more on Instagram, and like even Snapchat, I think, and TikTok, you know. I stopped using X or Twitter, whatever, like a while ago, to be honest. I think ever since Elon Musk, like, you know, basically took it over and stuff. Like, it's just weird. I don't really like it. Like, I missed a little bird. But anyway, yeah, and I made that in that print available into tote bags as well. And these are a little more like high quality. They're canvas tote bags, and they also, half of the proceeds are going to Chirla, CHIRLA, or the organization. And thank God, guys, I've been able to donate $100 to Chirla. So that's, you know, yay, that's good. And I am so proud of myself, because like, you just, you know, I want to do something to help out. You know, I know my son's young, but he understands and knows, like, he captures information like a sponge. And, you know, I read to him every day, and we have this book, I think it's called Hola Amigo or Hello Friend, something like that. And like, you know, at the end of the book, I mean, like, throughout the whole book, it's basically saying, you know, like, that, you know, we can all be friends regardless of our ethnicity, regardless of our origin, regardless of our, you know, our skin color, regardless, you know, if we talk like different languages. Like, you know, we're all human at the end of the day. That's basically what this book is about. And it's like, you know, it's a kid's children's book, but I love reading him this book because, and he loves reading it too, honestly. Like, or, you know, he flips pages and stuff. He can't read, obviously, but, you know, he can read it in my head. And it's just, you know, I really want to incorporate this to my son, and also, you know, to respect women, to respect, you know, other human beings, but also do not, you know, do not allow to be disrespected either, you know. And it's just, you know, I really want to like do this for him, because I think, you know, my parents did such a good job in raising me, but obviously, you know, no one's going to be the best parents in the world. I'm not the best mom in the world, but like, you know, I'm trying, and I want to try harder, you know. I want to be like, you know, better, knowing like, you know, I have, you know, I'm bored here, I have all these different opportunities, knowing where it came from, knowing where my parents came from, knowing their story, you know, knowing my story. I really want to just, you know, tell him, you know, give him all this information, give him the most, so he knows to make better decisions, knows to make, you know, not even the right decisions, just better decisions, you know, like for himself and for others, you know, to not hurt others and to not hurt himself. At the end of the day, I want him to know, like, you know, oh, mom just didn't, you know, she wasn't quiet, she didn't stay still during this time, like, you know, like I tried my best, you know, I'm an artist, and, you know, I really want to use my art to advocate about this, because it's something that's very, very close to me, everything that's happening. You know, my parents are just, you know, staying at home essentially. Thank God. Well, one thing is, I got us a job essentially of, like, you know, taking care of someone's dog. They went out of the country, and, you know, she's paying us a good amount for watching our like her baby, you know, like her doggy. And you know, that's literally going half and half, but also to my son, like, he has a savings account that I'm just, you know, putting, you know, everything into it that I can, or as much as I can. And then I'm also putting basically that into my savings, and also giving it to my parents, you know, actively. At the same time, I have a job, you know, and I am working through that. I, you know, made the Etsy account to help out my parents as well. That's what the other half of the funds are going to. And also at the same time, you know, this is for my sister and I, we're helping take over my mother's job. And also my sister has her own grooming like business going on, and I've been trying my best to help her out with that. More social media for her, because she doesn't have time. I have time, you know, in the way of, like, I could just post, because it comes so naturally to me that I could just do it, like, faster than her, you know. So that's why I'm just like, good. I made the TikTok account, I made a YouTube channel, I'm posting regularly on her Instagram, like, you know, I'm just trying to help her out in that way, so she, you know, she could get more clients and it could help her out financially, and which in turn she also helps out my mom and dad, or our parents, you know. She's adopted now. Yeah, and then, you know, at the same time, obviously my older sister, she is helping out so much as well. It's, you know, it doesn't even have to be obviously like financial, like, it's just being there, like moral support as well. And, you know, she's been helping out my dad with taking him to his, you know, appointments and stuff as well. I remember I had this, it was a horrible dream, guys. It was like, I literally dreamt that, like, and ICE, like, you know, like, we got raided, like, my apartment I live at, we got raided, and it was freaking intense. It was so real. I didn't wake up crying, but I woke up, like, shaking and, like, shocked and scared. I was so scared. I woke up just like, what the fuck? But basically, and I'm not saying, like, you know, like, everyone in my apartment or no one in my apartment, you know, I'm just, you know, this is just the dream I had, right? But they raided us. My neighbor's children were playing downstairs, and, you know, I was at home with my parents, and I think it was weird because, you know, right now we're taking care of the little dog, and, you know, we have our two other dogs, Bonita and Marley, as well as Toby. But, you know, I don't think he was in a dream, but it sounded like dogs in my dream. But the bark of the dog, it sounded like Zeus, like my old dog, which is, like, weird. But then I was just like, oh, it's like sus, like, because his bark is, like, you know, like, more, it's more like thick, like, it's more like oh, you know, instead of like ah. So, you know, it was more like that, like, you know, like, round. It was more rounder. It wasn't, like, you know, like, sharp, like, because the two little dogs are, like, sharp barks. So I was like, it's weird, like, I think he was there. And so then they started barking because, you know, they were, like, you know, like, you know, you heard a commotion downstairs, like, you know, obviously the dogs smell like different human beings. You're like, what the, like, you know, they let us know. So then I just quickly told my parents, I was like, run in the room, like, go, like, you know, take my son, go in the room. And then, like, I think all the dogs with them as well, but the dogs were just barking, you know. Then it was weird because it got quiet all of a sudden, and then you could just hear downstairs, like, my neighbor's children being like, no, like, mom. It was, like, in Spanish, so they're like, oh, mama, no. And then I was like, oh my god, it was, like, my neighbor's, like, son, and basically, like, they got my neighbor, and, like, their children were, like, you know, screaming for their mom. And I was just like, oh my god. And then, like, you know, it was weird, but it was like the dog stopped barking, like, instantly. Like, it was just like silent. but you heard like the screams of like the downstairs like children. And then like I go and like I'm in the living room, it's all dark, like, you know, we shut down everything. Like I don't know if the TV was on or off, but then you just see this like troop, like it's like ICE, like with full on military gear, like, you know, like his face covered and everything. But I think he was of Caucasian descent, and you just see him kind of like this, and like, you know, holding a gun like right outside my apartment. Like I could see him like right outside my window, and but the door was locked, the door was shut, but you know, you could just see a sliver of him like through like the curtains. And it was weird because in my dream, well, like in reality we have like yellow kind of blackout curtains, but like, you know, some light still comes through. But it's just one single sheet of curtain. In the dream it was two sheets. It was like a darker one and then a lighter one, like a white, you know, sheer one, like in front of it. And that white sheer one was like, he could see me and I could see him. I didn't realize that. I thought he couldn't see me like in the dream. And then he goes like, Mia Vasquez, like I know you're in there, like I could see you and I don't know what. And I was just like, I was terrified. And I think that's when the dream stopped, but it was insane. I was like, I think, oh, right before he said that, I remember like looking at my phone and I texted them, like texted my family group chat. I was like oh, like ICE like is at the our apartment. But you know how like in like you remember it, like you know what you texted, but I don't think it like that's what it was, you know. But I know I texted that for sure, like, you know, like, or like they're here, or like, you know, I said something like that to let my sisters know, or like, you know. And then that happened like right after he was like, Mia Vasquez, and I was just like, oh my god. As soon as that happened I woke up and I was like, well, because in the dream I was freaking out. I was like, oh, like where's that little red card? But then I was like, I know I'm like obviously like illegal, but like, you know, my parents like are like here, my son's here. And I was just like, I was freaking out. And I was like, I know I like, you know, obviously can't or like shouldn't open. But then I was like, oh my god, what if they just purge it? I was just like shook, guys. Then I woke up and I just woke up like I was like, what the fuck? Like I'm praying may this never fall upon us. And it's just crazy because it has fallen upon so many people and so many families, and it's just, oh my god, like that was just a dream I had, guys. Like you see things on like, you know, videos and like, you know, photos on social media, you hear stories, like I cannot just imagine, fathom what people have to go through, you know, just because of the way they look. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about this, let you guys know, like, you know, where I'm at, where my family's at, you know, what I've been trying to do to help out, you know, as, you know, a single mom with like, you know, a 15-month-old baby. And, you know, it's crazy. You know, we're trying to do our best to like, you know, like seguir adelante. And it's just, you know, it's a lot, but it could be worse. So, you know, we're holding on to that hope of, you know, that it could be better. And yeah, I just really wanted to just, you know, say hi again. I don't, you know, judge anyone for not doing anything. I just, you know, I just wanted to do something, you get me? Because this is like, for me, like my own human being persona. And because it's also important to very much highly take care of yourself. You know, if you have to go out and stuff, like, you know, like you as a human being, like, you know, like I want to go get ice cream, I want to go shopping, like this helps me, like this soothes me, like I want to go, like, you know, to yoga, I want to read, I'm just going to my job, or I got a second job, like, you know, you do you know. For me it's painting, and like, you know, just, you know, talking about this, you know, I understand that you need to, you know, take care of yourself, take care of your feelings, you know, and, you know, in your mental state. So that's what, you know, also, you know, I've been trying to do. It helps a lot when I'm like with my sisters, you know, and, you know, I was taking out my son to places. Just take care of yourself during these times, take care of your loved ones, your family, your neighbors, but obviously, you know, most importantly yourself, you know. So I really hope also, you know, all of like my prints and like tote bags and stuff, like, you know, even when I purchase art, it feels better, it feels so good, like, you know, to support another artist, like, you know, me being an artist. But also it's like, you know, kind of a way to also like, you know, help me, soothe me, you know, because that's also my thing of like, you know, I love shopping, and like I love like, you know, buying also like prints of other artists or like stickers and stuff. Yeah, I will have all of my my Etsy shop link down below. I will have each item listed, you know, like the tote bags or like prints of my art, because these are specifically going to be donated to these organizations. And yeah, I just really wanted to talk about this to you guys, or with you guys. More videos will be coming soon, and yeah, just take care of yourself, guys. It's, you know, we're in really, really tough times, but you know that also I am here for you as well. So this is just an updated, you know, a life little update, you know, a little letter to LA, my LA family, my LA people. This is a little, you know, letter to you guys because it's been so long, and I think, you know, kind of in a way of like, you know, how like snail mail type of the vibes. Also, I am working on a website, like my own website. It's just a lot with, like, you know, I literally wanted to do so much for myself, like, you know, in my art and like, you know, my career and stuff like that. And then this hit, so I had to kind of put a pause on that. That's why I opened up an Etsy shop, because it's like, you know, kind of like more affordable for that rather than my own website. I'm not sure if you guys know about how much websites cost and all that, but it's costly. And you know, I don't really want to like spend money on like other things that I can for, you know, like rent, bills and stuff. So hopefully I will you know, be grinding more, and we'll get that website out. And yeah, but at the moment, you know, reading about my art, it's usually through right now captions on Instagram, or even on like my Etsy shop, but just of that specific piece, you know. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. I really love you guys. Please take care of each other. Please take care of yourself. I love you so much.